My entitled aunt kept crashing my work calls, so I locked her out. She went nuclear over my rudeness, but wait till you hear the Disneyland story. Plus 2 updates. I-36F took in my mother during the pandemic after some medical issues. I never made her move out after. It works for us. She has her own bedroom and bathroom. We share other spaces, and I work from home most of the time so I can look after her. My stepdad died about a decade ago, and she was lonely. It made sense for us. As mentioned, I work from home most of the time, and a lot of times I'm in some kind of Teams meeting or call. Yes, even those that could be emails, but that's not important. So I don't really have time for chit-chat during office hours. My mom's sister, Aka my aunt, tends to drop by unannounced to visit with my mom, which I don't really mind, but she had a tendency to step into my office without knocking while I'm working and start talking to me about her neighbor's sister's kid who did blah blah blah. I've more than once explained to her that I'm working or I'm on a call and I can't really chat right now, but she just keeps talking like nothing happened. Today she actually announced to my mom she was coming over. I reminded my mom to tell her I'm working and on calls and can't be disturbed, and my mom agreed she would tell her not to bother me. But just to be safe, I locked my office door so she couldn't walk in. Despite my mom telling her, she came upstairs and tried to open the door. When it didn't open, she started knocking and calling out, "Hello, it's me, open up." I didn't respond at first as I was on a call with a client, but she kept banging on the door so loudly I ended up having to put the client on hold. I told her without opening the door I was on a call and could not talk right now, and my aunt left in a huff. Now she's bombarding my mom with texts about how rude I was for locking myself in my office knowing I was having company. So AITA. Update. After I finished my workday, I took my mom out for dinner and we discussed the matter. She hadn't responded to any of her sisters, my aunt's texts, because she is fully on my side. I know people are asking why my mom didn't stop her. My mom isn't very mobile anymore, and my aunt simply got up from her seat and took off upstairs despite my mom's warning. We discussed it over dinner, and we agreed that my aunt simply is no longer welcome during office hours. Since it's the only way to stop this behavior, either she can pick up my mom to go to a coffee shop and talk, come after office hours, or come over on the one day I work in office. My aunt seems pretty pissy about it, calling their brother, my uncle, to complain also. But he texted me earlier saying he told her how wrong she was, and apparently her husband had also told her she was wrong, so now she's currently stomping her feet at home because everybody is saying she's wrong. Delightful woman she is. Remind me to one day post the story about her Disneyland trip. Anyways, Mom and I decided she's no longer welcome at my house during office hours. Update. This is the Cliff Notes version of the Disneyland story. She has twin boys, and for their birthday she booked a trip to take them and one of their friends out to Disneyland. The friend ended up canceling last minute and told me if I paid the friend's share I could go. Reasonable enough, I figured why not. I was 16 at the time. This story is like 20 years old. I'm European, so this is Disneyland Paris I'm talking about, and I'm not from France, so this is an international trip. This becomes important later. My cousins are maybe 10-ish at this point. So anyways, we're in the parks, and she has been a menace all trip already, but I'm dealing with it. It's the last day, about 5 hours, before we have to take our train back home. International traveling train, with customs etc., like a plane, would be only less boarding time. One of my cousins wants to go on the rock and roll roller coaster, the other one doesn't. The line is like 5 minutes or less, so my aunt tells me to go with him, and she'll wait at the exit with our bags. So I leave my bag containing my phone, my ID, my money, everything in her care. 10 minutes later, me and my cousin get out of the ride, and she is gone. So I start looking around, cannot find her. After half an hour of waiting, maybe they went to the bathroom or something, still nothing. We go check the bathrooms, neighboring rides, the works, no aunt. I have no phone on me to call her, and with us having to leave for the train in 4 hours, I get nervous. I'm a 16-year-old with a 10-year-old at my hand, and no money, no ID, no phone, nothing. So I decide to go to the lost kids department and explain my situation. They end up calling her through the park's intercom. Another hour goes by, no aunt. I remember my dad's phone number back home, so I use Disney's landline to call him. He tries calling her cell phone, my cell phone, no response whatsoever. At this point, I have like an hour or less before the train leaves, and I'm in hystericals, because I can't board this train without money or ID, let alone with another minor. My cousin at this point, seeing my panic, is crying his eyes out, so I'm also dealing with a scared child. I'm barely an adult myself. My dad eventually tells me it makes no sense for him to drive out to Paris right now. To go back to our hotel, he'll pay for another night, and he'll come pick us up in the morning. So I take my cousin back to the hotel, explain the situation, and the receptionist hears me say my name and says, "Oh, sweetheart, I have a note for you. It's a note from my aunt. Gone to dinner, see you on the train." At this point, I have half an hour to run to the station, hoping we'll still get through customs where she's supposed to be waiting. I make it with 15 minutes to spare. I'm out of breath and fuming. We end up making it through customs. God only knows how, and manage to get on the train literally as the doors close on us. I call my dad, explain the update, and he is also fuming at this point. To which my aunt turns to me and goes, "I don't know why you're so mad. I left a note at the hotel, and I brought you something to eat," and hands me a freaking dinner roll. I took my stuff, went to the dining car with my cousin, who she also almost abandoned, and gave him the biggest slice of chocolate cake my budget could buy, and never came back to our seats to talk to her.